right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Holes, doing the Dragon Ball Z rewatch cast. So, tonight we are covering Dragon Ball Z Season 1. We're doing the Frieza saga. This is the second half of not Frieza. We're doing the second half of Vegeta saga.
Vegetable.
Vegetable Man. This is the Vegetable saga. So, see, last time we ended off on Cyberman attack. So we pick right up with episode 24. And we're gonna cover all the way to 39. So it's a pretty big gap. I'm gonna maybe switch it up this this month a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. How do you feel about the format of going through like each episode?
I mean, I don't dislike it, but I know that like when we were
But you
doing the
don't.
Trek stuff, like the like big long episode like recap thing was kind of not needed. We just talk.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't dislike it either. It just feels like it's a lot because we cover so many episodes
Hmm.
that I think sometimes you can get lost in the sauce a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, because mostly what happens is there's like an entire theme that we'll just be digging into, basically.
Yeah.
So I think moving forward, what I would like to do is maybe just treat the whole thing like just a movie review, essentially.
Okay, like from when we started to when we ended it, like
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Just see how that goes this month. We'll see how we like it and if anybody else likes it. I don't know. It's just something I want to try.
Okay.
Sometimes I just feel like I don't know. It's hard. Like if you don't take notes every single episode too, you're just kind of like, what happened to this one? Was this the one where Gohan
True.
was like cooking dinosaur meat and Goku was like running on Snake Way. This section here is a little bit more like precise, like
Yes.
very like to the point, basically.
Yeah. It wasn't until they got in the hospital that it was like it slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, you hit the end battle filler to the next thing
Yeah, yeah.
for a little bit, yeah. So let's just do it that way. Let's do it how we usually do it, and I'll ask you what your thoughts are on this section.
It's honestly really funny because um
Nothing
I
funny
didn't
about it.
expect I didn't expect really any of it to go the way that it did.
Yeah. Good.
And um I don't know, it was really weird because like normally in most media it's like okay, we're gonna spend like I don't even know, like 11 episodes on the main hero, like coming to save everybody. And it's like, it's like watching a TV show. And it's like, just hang in there, folks. Like, he's
Mhm.
definitely coming. He's
Yeah.
definitely coming. And you wait and you wait and you wait. And then he arrives and then he does like a whole bunch of cool stuff. And then like nothing, nothing really comes of it. And I was like, oh.
Mm.
I mean, imagine an Endgame, like if Captain Marvel came bursting through the thing, and it was like, yeah, and then Thanos just knocks her out, and then he's just like, all right, and he just keeps beating up the Avengers. It would be like, oh,
No, it's more like Captain Marvel shows up and then like Tony takes the jewels, the Infinity Stones,
yeah,
but then like just gives them back to Thanos.
right, right, like, oh, okay, yeah, that was like the most shocking thing. I didn't dislike it; it just was like very,
Hmm.
just not, just not how anything really presents like story writing. That's very much.
Yeah.
And I have a real, when we get into it, I have a real controversial take, and I know I do.
Oh boy. So, like you're saying, so episode 24, 25, 26, 27 is all like Nappa fighting the crew.
Right.
And that's all like Goku's like, oh, almost there.
I'm almost there. I'm coming. And then he like gets off Snake Way, and then he's like,
Yeah.
I'm almost there. And
He
then,
finally gets off Snake Way and then he's on the Nimbus for an entire episode.
yeah, I
Which
think like two
don't you
episodes.
think he can fly
I don't know.
faster than the Nimbus goes? Yeah.
I've been really confused because when he's on Snake Way, he like it looks like he's flying.
Yeah.
And then they'll cut certain ways, and then he's like hopping on Snake
Yeah.
Way. And then they'll cut, and then he's flying. So I don't know. And then I
It's
thought,
one of
oh,
those
okay, he's doing like an old school like Superman thing where he's like jumping, and then like
in a
he's
single
so strong
bound.
he can like, like soar through the sky. And I was like,
Hmm.
cool. And then he got on the Nimbus, and I was like, yeah, all right, I'm right in thinking that this is he just was doing like old school leap taller than the building kind of thing. And then there was like a scene later when I don't know if it was him. Yeah, no, I think it's when he first shows up with Nappa. He's just like floating in the sky, and I was like, okay, wait a minute. I was like, can
Hmm.
he fly?
Yeah, I know. It's funny. Like I'm the one that posed this question, but I will say, and the other side of this argument is that him flying on the Nimbus to the battle like saves his energy for the battle. So like that I get.
Hmm.
But it is funny. It's like your friends are dying, and he's just, well, I gotta conserve energy.
True.
Too bad. Too bad there's no sensu beans.
Yeah.
That would be too good, you know.
So we're led to
Because he
believe that,
stops and Corin's like, these are my last three sensu beans.
yeah.
Oh, and Goku eats one before he gets on the
Yep.
Nimbus.
He gives him
So
two of them. He eats one, and then he gives one to Krillin.
he splits it. He gives Krillin
Oh
and
yeah,
Gohan half.
Gohan. I forgot he gives the other one to Gohan. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so more to your point, he flies and jumps through Snake Way, and then he eats a sensu bean to regain all of his energy from traveling Snake Way.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
That was
and then you can
interesting.
see that you still have pretty good amount of like regainability like, with half a bean.
Yeah.
So like, wouldn't you save half a bean for like in the middle of battle or
Uh,
something?
yeah, I mean, you would think he would have maybe taken half a bean there, and then when he got it from Corin, and then when he got on site, the three of them would have had a half of a bean again, and then essentially Gohan would have had a full, like I don't know, like he would have been more fresh with a sensu bean kind of thing, like right on the spot, instead of like being however
Yeah.
long away he was.
The whole sensu bean thing is hard because it is such like a giant what's the word? It's like they're too powerful
Yes,
and you
yes,
can't use them constantly.
yes, yes,
So it's like it's just funny, but it's also funny to go from like Dragon Ball where like Yajirobe just sits there and eats like handfuls of sensu beans.
yes, yes.
And now it's like, oh, sorry, Goku, I gotta grow more sensu beans. I got two left. It's like,
Right.
well,
What
what
happened to
have you
that
been doing
huge?
for 3 years? It's been 3 years. You knew the Saiyans were coming. What have you been doing?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in it is very Superman-esque
It is, yeah.
because like a lot of it is like when Superman needs more strength, he just needs to get like direct sunlight on his body. But then he'll be fighting in broad daylight, and he's not getting healed or anything. And it's like, okay, so which is it? Does he get healed from sunlight or does he not? So it's like the sensu beans are kind of like the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
you can either give them to him or you don't give them to him. We don't have them, we do have them.
It's tough. It's tough. And I think like later on too, what they end up doing is it's more like It's more of a prideful thing, like in battle to not use
Mm.
like a cheat code, like not use
Yeah,
like
which makes
potions
sense.
essentially.
Yeah, it makes sense to his character. He's very like
Yeah.
honorable in fighting.
Yeah. So before we dig into this too a little bit, I wanted to briefly mention our buddy Ed Mark Stars from
Hmm.
your Patreon or our Patreon from Retrack. He commented on our Dragon Ball like end cap episode where we like talked
Oh,
about the whole series.
yeah.
And he brought to my attention, and man, I don't remember if I even talked about it, but he reminded me that Dragon Ball is based on, it's called Journey to the West.
Okay.
It's a very like famous Japanese like story about like a monkey king from
Okay.
like outer space,
Okay.
and it's basically like Toriyama parallels that story in Dragon Ball,
I see.
like pretty closely. And I don't remember if I mentioned it when I was talking about in our first episode. I was talking about like the manga and the
I remember you talking
what was
about
the other
like
thing?
a monkey guy, but that was
Yeah,
it.
okay. Yeah, I might not have like dug into it, but it's a pretty cool like 16th century um like tale
Mm,
during the
okay.
Ming Dynasty. And there was even a game recently that I did want to play and I have not played. It's the oh, what's it called? Oh boy. Do you probably don't remember know off the top of your head. It's like Black Mystery or something. It came out not that long ago. It came out this year, well, last year.
Oh, yeah.
And you
I think
play as you literally it's literally Journey to the West. You play as like the monkey tail guy, samurai guy.
okay. I kind of know what you mean. I think I've seen cover art for it.
They people have modded it and made it so you play as Goku with the power pole. Because that's the same thing. So this the Monkey King guy has like a pole that he uses and he like
Okay.
stands on it and wields it and it's basically Goku's power pole is what he uses.
Gotcha.
Uh
That's funny.
yeah, so
Like
it was just
Wukong, like
interesting.
Wukong or something like
Yeah,
that.
Black Myth Wukong, that's what it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, it came out not that long ago and it looks pretty fun. It came out kind of along the other samurai game. Remember that samurai game that came out and it was like
Oh yeah,
black and
Ghost of
white? Yeah.
Shinobi or something like that. Or
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it was like black and white. You had to like listen to how like which way the wind blew to like which way to go. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, he commented on that video and just was like, "Hey, did you guys not like know that it's based on this?" Because I think a lot of times we end up in our videos we're like, "I don't really understand this thing. Like, why are they doing this thing?" And it basically always comes down to like, well, it's based on Journey to the West. It's based on like a famous Japanese thing.
Fair enough. Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough.
And that's kind of what we've always like decided is that like I don't really understand this episode, but I'm sure it has something to do with like
I remember
Japanese
us saying that
culture
a
and stuff.
lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. It's based on that.
Nice.
So look it up.
Look
Read it.
it up and weep.
Read it and weep. So let's dig in. Let's take these by chunks. So let's talk about before Goku gets to the battle. So basically Nappa destroying everybody, essentially.
Yeah.
So the episodes were The Power of Nappa, Sacrifice, Nappa's Rampage, Nimbus Speed, and then the next one is where Goku arrives.
Yeah. I didn't see. Tien getting done away
His
with.
arm.
Well, his
Cuts his
arm,
arm
but
off.
also like
Yeah.
him eventually dying.
Yeah. How'd you like
Chaozu.
Chaozu's sacrifice? Pretty good.
I don't.
Goodbye, Tien.
Yeah, it's like I don't
Live
know.
long.
I didn't hate it, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know. It just felt also like he didn't really try. He just kind of latched on and then was just like, I'm gonna kill myself. And I was like, I don't know if you have to immediately do that.
Yeah. Well, he did.
Yeah,
Because blowing up did nothing, which meant that his fists would have done nothing.
true.
All this really does is it just shows you, like, hey, you remember how strong all these guys are? Like, yeah. Well, Nappa's like really strong,
Right,
and he's like not even on the same page as like Vegeta. So good luck, basically.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. I, I was like legitimately surprised by
Hmm.
Tien like dying because I thought when his arm got cut off, I was like, oh, okay, but I didn't think he was gonna like,
Yeah.
actually die. Even when he was like, and like lays into the ground, I was like, yeah, he's clearly just napping. And then they were all like, he's dead. And I was like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah. So Yamcha goes first. I think Chaozu goes next, then Tien, and then Piccolo. But that happens in the next episode.
yeah. I think basically like Tien attacks him, gets his arm cut off. Chaozu blows up, and then Tien goes back and like tries to fight him again, and then dies doing that.
Yeah.
And then Piccolo and Krillin come and try to do like the dual attack, and then they're like, "Okay,
Oh,
Gohan, do it!" And he
and
doesn't.
Gohan runs away like a little baby.
Yep.
I like that. I like that episode where they're all like, Piccolo's mad at him.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. This is a cool arc too because you get to see like how Piccolo's like heart has been changed and he actually feels like responsible for Gohan.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Um, I feel like they needed to serve a little bit more time with kind of digging into him and that kind of stuff. Like I
Mm,
kind of get it, but at the same time, it feels very like we were talking about in one of our other episodes, like very Munchausen kind of thing, where it's
hmm.
just like Piccolo is terrible to Gohan, and then he's like, "Oh, Master, you won't hurt me this time," kind of thing. Like, it's like,
Yeah, it is. It is very like yeah, even like sometimes like a Gohan will say things about like Piccolo and it's like that's not
right. It's
that's
like,
not what was happening.
right, exactly. Yeah,
It's like, yeah, he didn't kill me. That means he loves me. It's
exactly,
like,
exactly. That's my point.
wow.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, where have I heard that before?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
funny. They do show that little flashback too, though, where you can kind of see Piccolo changing a little bit. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
even that's when like Kami sensed it too.
Yes, yes.
So that's kind of cool.
It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting to go from like probably Dragon Ball's like worst enemy of the
Hmm.
entire series, like the most despicable character of the series, and then it's like,
I think it just shows you that like King Piccolo was terrible because he never had any friends.
yeah,
Nobody liked him.
that is going to be that. I mean, do we talk about it now? Because I have like a
Yeah.
really weird
Dig.
problem with
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. It it's weird to me And maybe they'll get into it in the next stretch, but it's like, so I gotta remember this now.
Cha-la, cha.
You're gonna tell me, you'll remind me, but it's like for some
Yeah.
reason the Namekians
Hmm.
sent Kami
Mm,
to Earth.
I don't think so. No, I don't believe that's what happened.
I thought
I
so.
think I think the story that Popo kind of relays is the get back to that in a second, but like the thing that is kind of funny in like all of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z is like all this stuff that is like taking place throughout history. And now that it's important, it's always like, oh yeah, Kami told me like he came from a spaceship, but like he didn't know. Nobody knew where he came from. And it's like all this like stuff, like even like
Yeah.
I remember like Roshi was like, "Oh, you went to Corrin's Tower. That's cool." It's like, "Why did you not tell anybody about any of this stuff?" Like,
Right.
here it is all of a sudden it was like this revelation to Kami and Piccolo that like they're Namekians, they come from outer space was like it blew their minds. But then
Right.
Popo was like, "Oh yeah, Kami told me like one time how like he was a boy in the wilderness, didn't
Right.
know." So I think honestly, now that I'm talking about it, I think what happened is um Piccolo and his parents were escaping
Yes.
something bad. I
Yes.
think the planet was dying or being attacked. They fled.
Yes.
The ship crash lands on Earth. His parents died. He must
Okay.
have lost his memory from the crash
Yes.
because he remembered telling, because Popo says he found this thing that looked like a bug, but it was a spaceship. He didn't know he came from it. And he
Right.
stayed there and just waited for somebody to come find him, and nobody came to find him.
And he stays there until he's like,
Like 30 something.
I don't know, yeah, a long
Yeah.
time. It's okay, right? So that's like the first half of him. And then you have the other backstory, which is like he goes to the tower thing, whatever the high up thing is called.
Look out.
Lookout. He goes out to lookout and then like disregards like the evil part of him. And that becomes
Yeah,
King Piccolo.
there's a lot of like backstory there between like him being in the wilderness for forever and then like I think he went and practiced martial arts and then he wanted to be like a guardian of the earth and the
Right.
guardian of the earth was like no
Right.
and then he got rid of his like evil tendencies and they split
Right.
creating Kami and Demon King Piccolo.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot there that really kind of gets like, oh yeah, this thing.
Right, and that's kind of how I was because up until that point, I was like, up until the point where Kami fades away here, because we'll get into it here in a
Mhm.
minute, but it's like I was like, oh, okay, and then at the end, it's like all of this, and I was like, wait.
Yeah, yeah, all this stuff happens and then Popo shows up and it gives a just dumps all this
Yeah,
lore.
yes.
Yeah. It's so funny too, every time that like Popo and Kami are like, we're the watchers of the earth. We make sure nothing bad happens on Earth. And they're like, hey, look at all this bad stuff happening on Earth. And they're like, we can't get involved.
We can't do anything about that. They're Saiyans.
Oh, okay. So what do you guys do up here other than like Popo waters the flowers and
We make dolls.
they don't do
We
anything?
we
We
make
just
sure that
watch.
the dragon comes back. That's
Yeah.
about it.
I get, really, I guess the only thing he really did was Kami got Goku he like convinced King Yama that Goku needed to train with uh
Oh yes. King Kai.
King Kai. Yeah. That was like it. That was like his guardian
Sure.
of the earth in action. That was like all he had done.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him, Goku. Go faster.
It, you gotta catch bubbles. Get your bubbles and Gregory.
Yeah.
Ah, that's pretty good.
He should be there by now.
Oh no, I forgot you have to travel snake way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Kinkai's great. Yeah. So Nappa, he's a force to be reckoned with, you know.
Yeah, well, that was the funny thing is because like the one and then like it's just one episode where Nappa just decides to blow things up. Remember, he goes around and just blows up all the human stuff.
Yeah, because he's bored and he just goes around and destroys all the military and
Yeah,
oh no. Oh no, Vegeta. Uh, yeah.
and then like this is where I think this is where it ends with Goku getting the sensu beans, and like Piccolo has the plan of like yanking on his tail on Nappa's tail.
Oh, yes. Okay, that's right. So this next section, well, not really a section. So Goku shows up, like you
Yeah,
said. So that episode is this master plan to grab his tail,
yeah,
and well, turns out these Saiyans have also learned
yes.
how not to be affected by their
They were
tails.
like, okay, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. So that's good. That helps. Doesn't he elbow like Piccolo like in the side of the head like super hard too?
Yeah.
He just like
Oh yeah.
blasts him.
And then
Yeah.
the next episode is Piccolo stepping in front of the blast to protect
hmm
Gohan. Ah.
Yeah. Go on. You were always a baby.
Yeah. But this
Yeah.
I was so fun. I laughed so hard because this next episode where Gohan shows or nope, Goku shows up. I didn't realize that the famous clip is from this episode
Which one is that?
where Goku like lands and he's like,
Mm.
and he's like, no, that can't be, no. And like the thing is going on his thing.
Oh, the over 5,000
Yeah,
thing or yeah.
over
S-
9,000.
So that's so it's so you know like in Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
what's the classic like phrase that
Oh,
always gets like misquoted?
yes, it's you
It's
don't
like one does
simply
not simply walk into Mordor. It's like that's not even the line.
right,
So the line that everybody quotes is "It's over 9,000." But like he does say that, but that's not when he says it. He when he yells, he's like he says it's over 5,000. And then
right,
like later on he checks it again while he's powering up and he's like, "Wow, it's over 9,000." That's like, but people say
right.
like it's over 9,000. But yeah, that's not the line.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Doesn't his scouter blow up too? Like
He
is the
crushes it in his hands, I think, right? Or does he blow up in?
I'm sure.
I thought
As
he
you can
crushes it in his hands.
I'm sure he does. As you've come to see that Vegeta has a little bit of a temper.
Yeah. I just like too because when Nappa turning back and being like, "What? That's not possible!" Like all freaking out and stuff. It was
Yeah.
just me.
I
I didn't realize
uh,
it was this early on in the show.
the thing that I always super enjoy too is it's like so all of Goku's friends have been like decimated this whole time, you know. And Goku shows up and like um I think Nappa like goes to attack him and then he just like disappears.
Oh
Goku's just
yes,
gone. He's like on the other side of him, like over with Krillin.
yeah.
And they're like,
Oh
"How
yes,
dare
yeah,
you?" He just pays them no attention. It's like there's like the super strong force that's here, and Goku pays them absolutely zero attention.
yeah,
Like I just really enjoy that, you know.
yeah, yeah. It
But
was fun, and that's
yeah,
when he
it
gives him the
is fun.
sensu beans.
Sensobi.
Hmm. Eat
Oh,
my child.
it's bean flavor. Oh yeah. Yeah, and then
When Kami and Piccolo die.
yep, Kami and Piccolo die. But literally, like that first episode where like Goku shows up and fights Nappa is like there's a bunch of stuff that happens in there. So Goku basically like just decimates Nappa pretty quickly.
Yes.
Um, and then he's like needs like help, and Vegeta just murders him.
Yeah, which I was
How'd
like,
you how'd you feel about
oh,
that? That's
that
pretty.
was pretty shocking, to be honest.
We saw him do it with the Cybermen, but the Cybermen's like, who cares about the Cybermen?
Right, right, right.
But this is
Ye-
like, oh,
Yeah,
you're useless.
I really didn't see it coming because I thought I had seen like Nappa throughout the years. I thought he was like a main staple, and now he's like he was gone. I mean, he did a lot, but like he was gone very
Mm,
quickly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Vegeta's pretty ruthless.
Yeah,
But
you're worthless.
so Goku and Vegeta start the battle of the century, and they
Yeah.
seem pretty even too. For a little bit.
Oh,
Kaioken times three.
you can't go that high.
Oh no, are you gonna break your body? I like that. He's like, sorry, King Kai. I gotta push it a little further. Kaioken
Times
times
three.
3 1/4.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The Kaioken is great, isn't it? Like, I mean, you got
It's
your
an
picture behind
interesting.
you there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because it's very used to what it's very it's what I'm used to, like the Super Saiyan thing where he turns all yellow. Like,
Yeah.
it's
It's
like,
very much a power up that's pre Saiyan power up, basically.
yeah,
Yeah, it's cool. I've always liked it. The pink, the outline that Goku has, like the pink glow.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and it can be very like dangerous. Like he can like basically turn his body inside out if he doesn't do it right.
mm,
It's not great. Like he's really not supposed to go as high as he did, and you can't sustain it for very long.
you're right.
That's why like towards the end he's just like can't even move basically. His body is just toast.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can't do it. It hurts.
is that you,
Ah.
Gohan? Touch my hand, Gohan, please. Is anyone there? But that classic, I think they redo it in an intro for like Dragon Ball Z Kai or Dragon Ball Z Super. I can't remember which one it is where it's Goku and Vegeta like on the rock.
Oh,
You would have
yes,
seen it. I redrew it of us for this thumbnail.
yes,
You would have seen it,
yes,
but it's a very classic like
yes. For
I
the
think in Dragon Ball Z Kai they like show it like pan around that like
okay,
scene. It's very cool. The wind's blowing and they're out in the wilderness, on the desert. It's a very like
yeah.
it's very
Mm.
cool. Did you did you
No,
realize that
no.
Vegeta was that much shorter too than Goku?
I kind of did, but not. Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't
Because
realize he was
I
like
mean Nappa's huge, so it's like
right, right. True, true. Yeah, I did notice it, but I guess I didn't. It didn't really super surprise me. I guess maybe I did kind of know.
yeah. Yeah, he's like a little
Interesting
stocky
though.
Wolverine guy. He's just
Yes,
small and
yes,
full of anger and
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
It's pretty. It's the thing that was like I kept being like okay, like was just that every time he would Goku would do something to him, and he'd be like, he's so much stronger than I could imagine. Well, I'll just use this attack, and then Goku would be like, oh, whatever, and then they would go and punch him some more, and then he'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, that really hurt me. I guess I'll have to do this to him. And it was just like, oh,
Kaioken.
yeah, I just
I like
expected it to be more of a kind of a wipe the floor kind of thing, and not
mhm.
like.
No, they're very evenly met. Like without the Kaioken, Goku wouldn't have that slight edge.
Yeah,
And Goku has the ability to use it like power up like right as he attacks, basically, just to give him the advantage.
right.
I really like the part where he basically hits Vegeta like into the mountain,
Oh, yeah.
and then Vegeta's just like and he like blows up the mountain.
Yeah. Yes.
It's pretty great. It's pretty classic.
It is.
Yeah. We get to see both of their signature moves used on each other. So uh Vegeta uses the Gatling gun. That's where he does the like
Yes.
sideways. Well, I
Yeah.
think it's
He's like, ooh, ah. That's what he's
it's
using
something
it
weird.
for.
It's like it's a weird pose. It's like this, and he's like, "Yeah, Gatling," or it's Gallic gun is what it is.
Yeah. But
And
that's when
Goku
he
uses.
does Kamehameha, but then when he hits it, he's like,
Hmm.
Kaioken times four. And he's like, no,
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 this is
no,
impossible. He goes out into space. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But then he does the thing I was like, how are they gonna write around this? And they did when he's like, I will make this thing and have the
Mm.
Blutz waves or whatever. He was
Oh,
like
oh yeah. What is it called? Blood. Yeah, blood swaves.
something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Blut I think he has a Blut.
it's definitely blood. It's blood. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, it's definitely blood. Let me see.
Okay.
Hold on. It is funny to hear it mentioned because they don't really call it. Um, Usually everybody just says grade eight.
Oh, hmm.
And I don't know. I looked at this up before, but this is giving me like a collectible thing in the game.
Hmm.
And stuff from GT, which I don't know. Yeah, it looks like if that is the same thing, it's Blutz
That's what I thought he said
waves.
in the episode.
He says it so fast, he's like Blutz wave. He says it like 10 times.
But the thing it made now the thing I was wondering, we've seen Goku do it, and we've seen Gohan do it, right? And they
Hmm.
burst out of it and then they're butt naked, right? When they're done.
Yeah.
But this time when he does it,
Oh well,
he has all the Saiyan armor on him. And I was like, wait,
they'll get into that. I'm not gonna tell you.
okay. All right. I figured
You
so because it
but
seemed
yeah,
kind of like too on the nose, you know what I mean?
because remember this is what Saiyans do.
Yes.
Like this is what they're known for. So like is it a stretch to say that like they have armor that's specifically made?
Makes sense.
Doesn't the Hulk at one point like formulate like synthetic clothes where
Yes.
yeah. So, you know, same thing.
No, no, no. I just thought it was interesting that they were like they didn't have Saiyans rip out of
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, what's really funny here is Wikipedia gets like really into like the actual so it says here that obviously they need to have a tail.
Okay.
Um It says the Saiyan also needs to absorb at least 17 million Xeno units of Blutz waves through the retention of the eyes to initiate the transformation. Blutz waves are only found in sunlight reflected by the moon. If there is no moon, a planetary body will reflect the same number of rays and initiate the transformation.
Cool. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, Vegeta does kind of tap into all that, so yeah.
Yeah. Vegeta once made himself transform by firing a power ball, which is a
Yep.
fake moon reflecting the requisite amount of Blutz waves into the air. So it's pretty funny. So that's a thing that like, they've gone to planets before that like don't have moons, so like they've needed to develop a way to still achieve the
Right.
great ape. Now, we've seen the great ape a few times,
Yep.
but were you expecting that Vegeta has like full control over the great ape form?
Yeah, a little just because they showed like backstories, like flashbacks of like Saiyans turning into apes
Hmm.
when they were fighting the other people of their world.
Oh yeah, the miscreants or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's one of those moments where like he turns into an ape and you're like, oh, that's not good. And he turns around and he's like, all right, Kakarot, what do you say about it? And you're like, oh, so he can control it completely. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool.
And have we seen the power um like Kai being blasted out of their mouth as Great Ape
No.
before? No.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
Yeah,
No, that was
that's
cool.
also sucks. It's like
Yeah.
everything
I
about
mean,
that form is like just built for destruction.
yeah, it's like atomic breath.
It is wow. That's a good reference right there. Uh, yeah, and then Goku gets like picked up and like crushed.
Oh yeah,
Pretty
majorly.
good. Pretty good.
But I think while he's trying to do that, like he's also trying to do the spirit bomb thing, remember?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
And then he just about goes to do it, and then I think Vegeta hits him.
Yeah, isn't it funny that like these like specially developed moves that are like very good and like very powerful, they require like 10, 15 minute like power-ups.
Yes.
It's like when would this would not be handy. Like ever. It's like so Piccolo learned that from fighting Raditz. They're like, hey,
Right.
if I'm gonna use this like uh special beam cannon, like it's
Yeah.
gonna have to be instantaneous. Like it can't be this like 5 minute
Right.
charge thing.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, that's just pretty good. Yes, I think no, that happens after. Yeah, so Goku tries to do the spirit bomb. Then Goku like picks him up. Oh, Goku does the spirit bomb because he uses solar flare
Yes.
to like lose him for a little bit to like charge it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Polar flare.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. Can you just keep doing that like over and over? Can you also just like fly, 80 feet into the air and charge up where he couldn't like find you or see you? He can't sense you. He can't like sense your power level. Like,
Right. True.
oh well. Then yeah, Jirobe, he's around. He's doing stuff.
Yes,
So
he is.
this is where I like spoiled you a long time ago, where like Yajirobe shows up and does some cool stuff, and I was like, yeah, you know, he's kind of like Oolong, he's kind of a coward, and you're like, I don't, I don't think that's what he's like, because back then he's fighting like Tambourine and eating them,
Yeah.
and
Right.
now
So
you
do
see like this is this is who Yajirobe is. He he runs his mouth. He gets all
yeah.
this free food and press and publicity. Then he shows up and he's like, they got it under control.
Now, do I have Dragon Balls this episode?
You do. Yeah, because we finished the Vegeta saga.
So I won't say anything.
Get those Dragon Balls. Yeah, but you weren't expecting him to show up with his sword and slice the tail off, though, were you?
I was not.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
was
cool,
not.
right?
Y-
I like when yeah, so he does that, and it's like a great like, wow, Jirobe, you actually did something.
Yep.
And then doesn't go Vegeta like go over and just start like punching his face like into the ground like
That's the second.
repeatedly.
That's the second time.
Oh,
Yeah. He
is
cuts him
it
in
the
the
second
back.
time?
He cuts him in the back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still pretty good though. He's upside down.
Oh yeah,
Yajirobe's
yeah.
upside down, and he's just like, ah. He's like, yeah, that's what you get
Yeah.
for not helping sooner, Yajirobe.
Yep.
And Krillin's up there laughing at him, just watching. Krillin's up there just watching.
Yep.
Ah. But that's cool too. Goku is able to like
He
transfer
gives it
the
to
spirit
Krillin.
ball. Yeah, which I don't remember that. I didn't remember that.
You can do it, Krillin.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
I
Gohan has to
missed.
deflect it, right?
I won't let you down, Goku. The fate of the planet's in my hands. And he's, oh no, I missed.
Right.
Oh God.
And
Oh
then
Krillin.
then Gohan has to deflect it.
Oh yeah, he shoots it back.
He's like,
It's pretty good.
"Ah."
Yeah, it
Ah.
hits. It hits Vegeta. Well, doesn't isn't this too like when Goku says like you can take control of it because um it's good energy and it like
Yes.
it'll only hurt like people who
Yes.
are evil basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So it hits Vegeta and he's dead now forever. He'll never. Oh wait, no, he's still fine.
Oh, so he's back.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a Superman villain. I mean, he's Doomsday. He just you can't get
Yeah,
rid
he,
of him.
he comes back down and then he goes over to kill Gohan and then he sees Gohan grew the tail back.
Oh yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right.
And he's like, "No, no, it's the blood
And then
trace."
and then Yajirobe
Slices
cuts
him.
him.
Yeah.
And he gets so distracted by his anger of beating poor defenseless Yajirobe that he doesn't realize Gohan's already changing.
Yeah.
I guess like once you start, you can't stop him. You can't
No.
like. Well, that's pretty cool. Then of course, Gohan has no control over it, like at all.
No, yeah.
He just starts bashing stuff. And I think, yeah, so Vegeta fights him for a little bit. He ends up using, he learned, he's a quick study because he learns Krillin's Destructo disc
Yes. He does
because he
like
uses
this.
the Destructo and he like shoots the like sideways
And he
thing,
cuts his tail, right?
slices his tail off, but then he lands on him. That's pretty great.
Yep.
Crushes him right into the ground. How funny is it too that like you get like crushed to death and then he shrinks back down to just like a naked child.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And then Krillin's just gonna walk up to him and just
Kill
sashimi
him.
him.
Yep.
That was pretty crazy. Like, can you imagine though? Like I don't know. So is this your controversial?
No, 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 no.
No. So how do you feel? How do you feel about Goku, his speech of we're no better than them?
If he hadn't given Piccolo a senzu bean at the end of the other series,
Mhm.
and like
Yeah, this would
also
be
talking to like Raditz in the beginning of like, hey, we don't
yeah.
actually have to do this.
Well, Tien too, right? Tien was a bad guy.
Right. I
So
think
you
if
have
like,
this
yeah,
progression.
I think if that wasn't a thing, then I would be like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. But because of how he's treated other really bad characters, like it wasn't too much of a surprise.
Mhm.
Plus, it's hard not to be spoiled because, like, I know Vegeta is a thing,
Well,
so it's
he's a
like,
main part of the show, yeah. But the thing too is that like I feel like Goku realizes that like they're the last of the Saiyans,
yes,
and so clearly like Vegeta's just being used as like a tool.
yes.
He's not just like doing things on his free will, basically.
Well, I think he kind of put together that they want the Dragon Balls, so it means like they have
Yeah,
like
their
a
life sucks too.
right, like they have a motive. They're not just like here to kill people to kill them. They are also trying to do
Yeah,
something.
I mean they do that, but
They do, but you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they didn't just come to Earth to just like kill people and sell the planet and then go to the next planet. It's like they are doing that, but they're also looking for Dragon Balls.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I like that. I like that Goku's like that. Like you said, I like that we've seen it like a progression.
Right.
Like
Yep.
Tien, he's kind of a jerk. And you're like, yeah, he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
I mean, even Yamcha kind of starts off as like the desert bandit.
Yes.
But then,
Yep.
like you say, then it progresses up to like Piccolo, and Piccolo is just pure evil.
Right.
And you're like, well, how could it be worse than Piccolo? And now you see Vegeta, he kills his own like brother in arms.
Right.
And you're
Right.
like, wow, this guy's a real.
Yeah. True.
And Goku's just like, nope, we're better than that.
He won't learn.
When will you learn that your
Then
actions have consequences? Yeah.
they talk about
Then they spend 15 days in the hospital.
they bring up Namekian Dragon Balls.
Yep. I like this next episode here, the picking up the pieces.
Yeah.
Um, I think this is when yeah, so Chi-Chi and Bulma and Roshi show up in the plane
Like
like right after the
Torin,
battle.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, they show up and they get everybody and
Yeah.
they talk and then they go back over to the other battle site and they retrieve everybody.
They put him in those like yeah,
These little
those like
capsule pods.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And
like
there's
Goku's
no
like, I'm okay.
Chi-Chi doesn't care about him whatsoever.
No.
No.
It's
Little
weird.
Chi-Chi.
It's weird. I was fine with her up until these last stretch of episodes that we watched because
Mhm.
it's like I get it. I get the whole mom trope thing, and I get it's
Yeah.
also like a cultural thing that like I've seen a lot of media where like Japanese moms in particular are very like
hmm
I
Oh,
don't
it's
know,
very,
just
yeah.
like hyper protective of their children and like mean to their kids in a sense.
Yeah.
And like later when Gohan shows up in the schoolboy shirt with like his haircut, it's like I can see the little Asian boy, like Japanese boy,
hmm
like I can see what they're going for
hmm
with the culture. But I just like overall, I just was like, ugh,
it is funny because it's like I mean she used to run around in like a costume
right,
like fighting people and
right.
like and then like she fell in love with Goku because of who he is and then now it's like she just wants to like settle down and have like a white picket fence and it's like
Yeah,
that's
and
not
it's
you're married
yeah.
to a weird monkey tail dude, like
But that's the same thing as I feel like that's not fair of her character because like that's not really what she was the whole time, which is what made Chi-Chi a cool character.
hmm
And now she's really
yeah.
no different than any of the other. Kind of like later, I mean, again, I guess we can just talk about it, is like it's like Bulma is just like terrible at the end of the stretch. She's awful. And
Mm.
even Krillin's like, "Why are you so terrible?" And she's like, "I'm so busy." And it's
She's
just like
you've always had struggles with Bulma. Honestly, she goes from like top to bottom of my list pretty frequently.
it's just weird. It's just a
Well,
weird thing
buckle in
to
then because she doesn't get any better on Namek.
Oh, God. It's just weird
She
because
is
she's
a
like
D,
really.
she's a rich diva brat. That's her role. I mean, that's
I
her
I
thing.
mean, I get it, but at the same time, like you have to admit the last, I don't know, stretch of episodes, like she wasn't really like that.
I like her like working on the ship and finding the ship and all that kind of stuff, but
Right, right.
like once they get on the ship, she's just like just this lazy, like doesn't want to do anything on the ship.
And it doesn't really make any sense. Like, well, I don't get why she would be like that.
I think it's because Toriyama kind of wanted this to have like the original Dragon Ball feel, where it's like it's Krillin and Gohan and Bulma running around doing
Gotcha.
stupid stuff, and she was really unlikable in that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. She's not. I don't think she's like terrible in this next stretch, and I think sometimes she is justifiable. But
Well, with all the, I mean, you have to admit the garbage scene and Krillin being like, "Why
oh,
do
it's
we have to pick
ridiculous.
up your garbage?"
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and she's just kind of walking around in like what she's wearing, and there's like Krillin and a like child on board. It's
Right.
like what?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So
Yeah.
I know you can't tell me,
Hmm.
and you might want to tell me, but it was funny where Popo is in the thing and they're talking, and then they go and he takes Bulma to. No, no, don't say that
Hmm.
scene. Don't say the scene because that might be one of my Dragon Balls. So don't say it anyway.
Hmm.
So is he takes her to the machine, the like pod, and at first I was like, oh man, that looks like and I have no idea what his name is. Couldn't
Hmm.
begin to tell you what his name is,
Yeah, good.
but he's like a white alien man, and he has two black horns that come out of the side of his heads, out of his head here. Not heads, he only has one head.
Hmm.
I
Is
have
he like
no
a
idea
pink?
who he is.
Is he like a pink guy?
No, I think he's white.
He's white.
I can see him in my head. I have no. Oh, I don't know what his name is. I can just see
Is
him
it
in my.
Fr is it Frieza?
It's not Frieza.
But Frieza has like five forms though, just so you know.
Okay.
So, I mean that's
Well,
I don't think
anyways,
that
when
really
they first
spoiled anything,
show
but
it, I thought of this horned guy. If I could show you a picture, I would
oh,
just show you.
is it Frieza's dad? He has horns.
Maybe. And then when they clean it up and they fly, I was like, that looks like a Frieza ship.
Mhm.
Because the way that top part is like all molded at the top,
Yeah.
it's very like similar to what I remember Frieza looking like.
Frieza's main ship is basically just a giant flying saucer.
I see.
Is a
Well,
big
yes.
black like sphere, like saucer, and it has like the little like dome
No, no,
windows all the way around it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That, I understand that. I meant like the physical representation of the artistry of Frieza is very similar to the design of the shuttle that they're flying in.
Yeah, with the spikes.
Like the spikes and the white color and like that doming effect that they have like on it.
Yeah, because even like Frieza's head kind of has like that dome
Right. Right.
with, and he has the two like, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
I think
see.
the guy I'm thinking of has like the yellow padding, like a saint like Vegeta and Nappa does. He has like
Oh,
horns. He has like horns coming out of his head.
oh,
I don't know what
that
his name is,
sounds.
but
Oh, there's a few. I mean, that's a very classic like art style for Toriyama's. There's also a bad guy in GT, um, that's white and has horns out of his head.
hmm.
I don't know, but yeah, but that is a Namekian ship.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
I don't know why. Think when you see, think when you see like the king of the Namekians, I think his throne is like that. It's white and spiky.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool design though, right? Like for a ship,
It
it's a
is,
cool
yeah.
like little space pod. Do do do. Yep, it's cool. Did you like Popo's magic carpet?
I love Popo's magic carpet.
It's cool. I like how he uses it, but then he instant transportates like anywhere he wants, so he doesn't even fly in it.
Pretty good.
So that's pretty cool, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Let's go. Oh, Popo.
Popo. How do you open the door? Piccolo.
Piccolo. Yeah,
Yeah,
that part, that,
and now all of a sudden, Popo knows like Namekian language. He knows like words in Namekian,
yeah, he's like, that means toilet, idiot.
even though, even though, Kami doesn't know he's from Namek and doesn't know like what Namekian language is. Popo like learned Namekian, a few Namekian words from him over the years.
Right.
Oh well.
The the part that made me kind of laugh unintentionally was they're all like, "Okay, okay, Gohan, here's all your things, and here's your hair straightener and your soup and all this stuff." And they put on, "Okay," and he's like putting it all on, and then they're like, "Okay, we'll talk to you later." And then it cuts to Bulma, and she's like, "Piccolo," like very seriously, and they rise into the ship. Made me laugh.
Yeah, pretty good. I like when Gohan is on like the hospital roof like training. I thought that was pretty cool. When he's in
Yes,
the
yes,
hospital and
yes.
he disappears and he's training.
He like slips and yeah.
Hmm. I also like when he yells at his mom. That's pretty good. It's like, I'm
Ah.
gonna go. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. I like when they show up to the spaceship and Bulma has like this really fancy like space uniform. And
Yes,
Krillin's
okay,
like,
yeah.
do we need spacesuits? Cause like we don't have any. And she's like, no, it's
No.
fine. It's like, oh, so you're just cool because you have a spacesuit then, basically. Hmm. Yeah.
Pretty
Did you
cool.
like when Goku was like getting his bandages changing and he was just screaming constantly?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Maybe laugh. Quite funny.
Isn't it funny though too that like he's all bandaged up in this like basically this iron lung device,
Yeah.
and then in the meantime like legitimately just like a sensu bean would be all he needs.
Oh, yes. Yes, I was
They're
thinking
like,
that.
yeah, the doctor said I have to stay in this for like 18 months.
I was like, eventually they'll just show up with a sensu bean, right?
Hmm. Well,
He does say he'll go grow some and he'll be back, right?
yeah. They'll show up with a sensu bean when everybody's dying on Namek and he has to get there immediately.
Perfect. You mean, or do you mean in 11 episodes?
Well, it's 25, but that's right. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so then they jump on the spaceship and they're blasting off into space
Yep.
on their way to Namek.
We get to figure out what
But
all
then,
those chibbins.
uh-oh, children space pirates.
Yep.
Uh-oh, what's up with that?
What was funny was a cool shot when Krillin gets the top of his, it's like his hat's burnt. and he like puts the hat back on and he turns
Oh
and it
yeah.
says Kame on it, and then he goes Kame, and then it shoots the hallway, and then he shoots the hallway.
Was
Oh, that was pretty good.
pretty good. Um, yeah, and Gohan in the scene before that when they're getting on the ship, Gohan has like a hat or a shirt or something that says Dragon Ball on it. Like literally just says Dragon Ball on it.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to find it, but yeah, because I noticed Krillin's house literally says Kame, and you're
Right,
like, okay, well that's Turtle
right,
Hermit
right,
Kame,
right.
but then like Gohan has like a thing that says like Dragon Ball, and you're
I
like,
didn't. I guess I didn't
what?
catch it.
Like what? That doesn't make any sense. So that's, but yeah, so that's where we left off. We left off with child space pirates.
As it should be.
So we'll see. This is all filler stuff, by the way. Like,
Oh yeah, it's okay. I'm not worried about it.
but at
I'm
least it's
used.
one more, and then they'll be on Namek. So
I'm
it's not
used
like
to it
four more
now.
episodes of traveling there.
Oh
So that's
God,
good.
no, no.
I forgot. I literally forgot all about that stuff that like they get like run into these kids in space. I was just like, oh,
Oh please.
it's like you made it so the ship can travel to Saturn in like 5 minutes. Just show them landing on Namek. Don't do this. Don't do this, Toriyama. Don't do this to us.
Right, 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 right.
Just- and I don't think he did because I don't think this stuff is even in the manga. I think this is like specifically like TV filler.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty great. So yeah, so we finished the Vegeta saga and went a little bit into the Namek saga, but this is just kind of like a good
yeah,
like we're not on Namek yet, so like it just felt like let's just cover until we're there basically. So we have one more and then we're
yeah.
there. All right, Will. So I don't know how you've done it. Yeah, should we even do, well, we have to do it because it's part of the show. Because it's like, it's not fun. Like, well, there's no Dragon Balls. So screw your questions, buddy. But yeah, I think we did do that one time though, where it was like,
We waited.
yeah, yeah, because Piccolo destroyed the dragon. So we're like, "Pfft, no point in doing Dragon Balls.
That's right.
But
It's like, yeah,
these are,
do I wait for the Namekian Dragon Balls? But I don't think so, right?
no, these, we'll just say these are the Namekian Dragon Balls.
Okay.
Now
Spoilers.
everybody, Bulma has to wait a year. Actually, I don't know if that's how they work. All right, so for the 1 star, it's your most forgettable character.
My most gettable character
Yeah.
is Chaozu.
Ooh. Goodbye, Tien.
Only because I think his death was a little rushed. I
Hmm.
understand he had to die. It just felt like he didn't do what the rest of them did, which was fight, 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 and then go like, I can't beat him, and then blow up. He literally was like, he saw everybody else getting beat up, and he was like, well, I guess I'm gonna blow up then.
He saw
Um,
everybody getting destroyed, took his opportunity, and
yeah.
snuck up.
I guess I would have liked
Pretty
to see
forgettable.
him try a little bit more than just immediately blow up.
Yeah, at least make him, use your mind powers, make it so Nap has to go to the bathroom. I mean, what are we
Right.
doing?
Well, whatever he was doing, remember he could like freeze people or whatever. Anyways,
Nah.
he had a lot of powers, and I think that that was why they wrote him off really quickly because he
Uh-huh.
could do a lot of stuff.
I don't think I don't think Toriyama remembered all the stuff he like made him do on the tournament.
Um, that and then the thing was, and they do it, but there was a couple times they're like, I can't believe Tien and Yamcha and Piccolo are dead. They're like, I know. And then somebody else like a beat later or like 10 minutes later would be like, and Chaozu. They'd be like, oh yeah, and Chaozu. Like they did it so many times because like they go to pick up the bodies and they're like, oh, and then he's like, Oh, and then they're like, oh yeah, and Chaozu. I was like, yes, and Chaozu. Like if
Oh no, there's literally that one line where they're like, "Oh yeah, where?" I think Baum was like, "Where do we get him?" And he's like,
yeah,
you won't find any part of Chaozu. You you
yeah.
won't find any of him."
So
Wow.
it's just mainly because I feel like he doesn't. I know they try to make it worth it, but I just felt like his sacrifice was not as impactful as the show wants.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because
when
most of us don't just like love him to begin with, anyways.
right, right.
That's funny. All right, so for you, two star, it's your favorite character of this section.
Do I also get an MVP?
You do get an MVP. That's
Okay,
next.
so my favorite character of this episode of this stretch, I should say, is mm,
Oh,
mm-mm. I'm gonna say it's Krillin.
okay.
I like that like Krillin, he's always like wants to run away, but then he doesn't, and
Mhm.
then he's afraid, but then he still fights. And he's
Yeah.
one of like the few from the first time they've battled the Nappa. Like he's all the way through. Like I know Gohan and him leave, but like they come back and stuff. So
The thing that's impressive always about Krillin is that he is just a human.
right, right,
And
right.
he kind of held his own. Him and Piccolo held their own versus Nappa.
Yeah,
And you gotta remember, like, Gohan is half Saiyan, Goku's a Saiyan,
right,
Piccolo's a Namekian.
right,
And it's like he's just a dude. He's just a dude that like trained in martial arts really good.
right.
And he's holding his own.
And I like too that like at the end, like he's one of the people going to find the Dragon Balls to like bring people back.
Hmm.
It feels very much like Goku doing it for him.
Yeah, that's true.
Like he's repaying Goku the favor of like he's gonna go get the Dragon Balls now and like bring back his friends.
Yeah, I know. I like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so then the three star is the MVP.
This is my most controversial. This was the most controversial.
Hmm.
It's Yajirobe.
Well,
And it's mainly because not because I like him as a character and not that I think he's funny or think his like weird
yeah.
moral system is good. It's simply because if it wasn't for him cutting Vegeta's tail, like
Yep.
I don't know what would have happened to them. They probably would have lost.
Hmm.
And then also him cutting Vegeta in the back allows Gohan to transform, which ends up basically defeating Vegeta.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, because Krillin tries to use the Destructo disc to cut off his tail,
right,
and Vegeta like senses it coming and jumps over it.
right, right.
Yeah. But then Yajirobe, like he could have ran away like three or four times.
And to me, that's the only reason I pick him. It's like Goku's great and everything, but in a really nice way, it's like I feel like he just wears Vegeta down and then just kind of late. It's like it's a weird thing where
Mhm.
he arrives, he's really cool, he does a lot of really cool stuff. He's very overpowered. It's very fun to watch, and then he just lays on the ground for like just episodes after episodes after episodes. You're just like, okay,
It's hard to make Goku the MVP because it's like he's supposed to be like the main character.
right, right,
So it's like, yeah, everybody like waited for him to show up to fight the Saiyans. Like that's what we were supposed to be doing.
right,
So like he's not the MVP for showing up and saving his friends. That's what he was.
right.
That was the whole point of this section was like that was what he was doing.
Right, right.
But there's
Yeah,
always somebody else that does something that pushes the outcome in a different direction.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Droby's a good. I don't think that's controversial.
Okay. I just
No,
know he's not a well-liked character in comparison to
no,
like Goku and Gohan and all that.
no, but you're 100% right. Like Goku was, basically dead. Krillin and uh Gohan didn't have like the upper hand like of element of surprise anymore.
Right.
And Yajirobe did because he's kind of a nothing burger,
Right.
He was able to just sneak up and
Yeah.
yeah, no, I like it. I think Yajirobe cutting off his tail is a great, great part of this saga for sure.
I also like too that I think it was Goku did it to him. I really liked that when Vegeta as the ape got his eye hurt and when he
Oh,
de-transforms, like his eye stayed injured. I really enjoyed
yeah,
that.
that is cool, isn't it? Yeah, I did like that too. Yeah. I also like seeing the like when the tail gets sliced, you see like the core of
Oh,
like
like,
it's really
yeah, the
gross.
bone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So then the 4 star is the best fight.
It has to be when he's doing he's gonna blow up the Earth. Vegeta's gonna blow up the Earth, and Goku
Oh,
like shoots back and like is blocking it, and then he's like he does it's like a very famous. It makes me feel like when I think of Dragon Ball, that's what I think of is
yeah,
like the bad guys doing the ultimate like destructo attack, and
yeah,
then Goku's like he's keeping it. They're at evenly matched, and then he's like Kaioken times four, and then they're like, you can't do that, you'll die. And he's like, ah, then it hits Vegeta, and they blow. Yeah,
yeah.
he blows up. Like that's
It's
all
a it's always it's a very classic Dragon Ball Z to have two energy beams hitting each
right,
other, like different
right,
colors, and they're like sometimes they're like, oh, I got a little more, like yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Sometimes it's 3 episodes just so that just three.
Yeah. So I would say definitely that fight sequence was really fun.
Yeah, that is pretty good. All right, so then the 5 star is your most hated character this section. You can't say Bulma
I'm not going to say Bulma, no.
because the fact of the matter is just because she's annoying, she's not Vegeta or Nappa. And they're like horrible people.
So I don't. So I think it's just going to be Chi-Chi because she was like really annoying at the end in the hospital
Mm,
specifically. Because up until then, it probably would have been like Nappa. Like he was an idiot
yeah,
just to be an idiot. But it's
yeah.
like like we talk about when we do these kind of things. Like you're not supposed to like him. So I feel like the award is supposed to
Yeah,
go to those
that's
people
not
that's
fair
like
either.
right.
Yeah.
So I feel like Chi-Chi is probably the answer. One of my other
It's
big
hard because it's like you really like Chi-Chi from
right,
like Dragon Ball
exactly.
and stuff, and now like all she really does is she yells at the TV, passes out when she sees Gohan
Right.
fighting. And the other thing, I think that was in this section too, was
Probably.
like every time like they couldn't see what was happening on the battle on the crystal ball,
Oh,
Bulma
yes.
kept like punching it and hitting it across the room.
Yes.
I was like, what are you doing? It got to be
Yeah.
like annoying. It was like 3, 4 times in a row where she would
Yeah.
like I was
It
just
didn't
like,
make any
oh
sense.
my God. Like I can't watch any more of the what's going on at Kami House.
I think for me, what really helped, like all the stuff at the Kami House, some stuff was annoying, but for the most part, it's like, you get it. Everybody's dying, and these are the last people to save humanity, and it's like we're all gonna die if they lose. So you kind of let stuff slide, but like literally, when the battle's over with, and then they're going to get them, like Chi-Chi is just like she's so terrible, and like even to the point, like Toriyama has the characters right, like so you're
Mm.
not gonna talk to your husband like and she just like ignores him and it's I
Mm.
don't know, it's just as weird. It's very
Yeah,
anti her.
It's Goku's fault that
Right.
he died and Piccolo kidnapped him. It's Goku's fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing
Oh well.
I wanted to get your feelings on, I meant to ask was like,
Mm.
why don't like Korin and Roshi fight?
I don't know.
I get like maybe Korin's got to be up there, but then he came down. But the
Hmm.
thing to me is like when you look at the tournaments, I'm like,
I
why
think
isn't Roshi like involved with these guys, like helping them, you know?
I think Roshi knows he's really outmatched now.
Okay,
He knows, I think he knows that like even Krillin has like surpassed him basically. So
gotcha.
what's the point, I don't
Mm.
know.
Just surprising, just surprising because like, they build him up to be this really cool
Yeah.
character and then he just kind of doesn't do anything except for go like,
Oh.
now listen, everyone, be calm, It's like,
Work hard, eat and sleep plenty.
right,
Well,
right.
maybe you'll see it. Maybe you'll see it at some point. See Roshi do stuff.
Yeah. I just remember the good days where like
Maybe
those military guys would show up on the island and he would beat them all up really fast and just stuff like that.
maybe he'll just die in the next section too. Who knows?
No, he won't die.
Uh,
Can't fool
yeah,
me.
good. All right, so the 6-star Dragon Ball is the funniest line or scene that you can remember.
Okay.
This is a
Okay.
hard one because it's like really trying to pinpoint down the thing.
You laughed and I thought you were gonna say it. And I said, don't
Oh,
say it because of the ball. Okay. I had one and I said, okay, I'm gonna keep this in my back pocket in case and it was Chi-Chi coming out of the house with the guns and she's shooting before the battle fights and like I think she shoots at Baba or whatever.
that is funny. She comes down the stairs like all
Yeah. Like Rambo
bandoliered up and
style.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So I thought it was gonna be that, and that was what I was gonna hold on to. But
Then you got to the hospital.
then I got to the hospital
Yeah,
and they see Popo out the window, and then they want Bulma to go with him. And it
yeah.
does this cut back and forth between Bulma and Popo. And she's like, ah. And then it cuts back to Popo and he's like, oh. And then
Oh,
it keeps
oh.
doing it like every time they cut to him. I
It is
couldn't.
funny. It is funny, but that is such an uncomfortable scene, is it not?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
because of the context of it.
Yes.
Like I don't know if it's implying specifically, but it really feels like it's implying specifically that like uh, because like we always say like there are so many like creatures and stuff that live in this universe,
Yes.
and Bulma is like freaked to death by this like black character, like
Right. Right.
what is this about? Like this is so
Like, what's
weird
your
and
issue?
yeah. And
Also, he
it's
works with
not like,
like,
hey, dub it and make it so she's scared of the carpet. It's
right.
very much that guy freaks me right the out. It's like, why? I don't understand why.
Well, that was the thing too, is it's like he works with Kami, so it's like, why would you think he's like bad or like gonna be, I don't know, like he's a good guy.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It was weird.
It was really
It
weird.
was weird. I
But
really
them
like
cutting, go no,
I
go
really
ahead.
like he kind of gives it back to her when they're looking for the spaceship.
Oh yes.
She's like, "Oh, it's cold," and he's like, "That sucks."
I
And then
guess you'll
she's
have
like,
to
"Well, I can't.
climb.
How do I?" It's like, "Huh, you have to jump. I don't give a. I don't care. I don't freaking care what you do."
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
it was pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. That's good. Yeah, the cut back and forth of them staring at each other is pretty funny.
Oh, oh.
Oh. Yeah, because that seems like, oh, well, maybe Popo knows. And she's like, oh, yeah, yeah. How are we gonna ask Popo? And he's like, he's standing right outside the window.
Yeah.
And then even like people in the hospital like rooms and stuff like saw him like flying up there. They're like,
Yes.
what the heck is that? Oh God. So then for the 7-star is your favorite episode.
That was the thing I was going to say too. Do you not think it's weird that like the government people take the pod, Vegeta's pod, and then
Oh,
like the gang feel like they can't go and get the pod, I'm like, you just saved the Earth. Like, I don't get why you feel like this is behind like closed doors.
Mm,
Just like go to them and get the pod.
yeah. I like that it's their only shot to get to Namek. And instead
Right,
of like Bulma going back to the lab and consulting her father and looking at the device and backwards compatibilizing the device, she just starts
right,
pushing random buttons on it and it blows up.
right.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that was really weird. I get it was like a convenient thing, but it was also like, why would anybody care? Like they know Goku already. He's saved the world like so many times.
Yeah, they like legitimately could have just gone to like the dog president guy.
Right.
Like what's his name? I always forget what his stupid name is.
King Fury,
King
Fury.
Fury, yeah.
But
King
also
Fury.
like, the Defender of Earth is gone. I don't know. It's just like I don't know. It was just weird. Anyways, favorite episode. One where they let it's either the one where they let Vegeta go, like he doesn't kill him,
Mercy.
or it's like the immediately next episode,
Picking up the pieces.
something like that. Mm, no, because
Yeah, it's like
Mercy
this.
ends swearing revenge, and he goes into space. So I think it's picking up the pieces.
That's when they go around and collect all the corpses and
Yeah, I think I like that one a lot, just because like I don't know, just like it closed a lot of the gaps that I had, like certain stuff I wasn't really sure about, and they kind of like discuss things and like catch people up to date with everything, and then they talk about the like Krillin brings up the Namekian Dragon Balls, like that's what they were looking for,
Mhm.
and then I think King Kai talks to them, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is like the one where she does the calculator and tells them how far it is. Then they're like, they'll find
Yeah, what did she say? It would take you like 300 years or something to get
like
there?
4,000 years or something crazy.
And go and wasn't it like Krillin that's like he's like, "Well, by then I don't think we'll even need them."
Right, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. There you go. There you go, Krillin. Yeah, you're getting it. Ah.
I just liked I guess the reason why I liked it, not because any of the fight scenes were bad. I just like I felt like this episode was now bringing us into like a different thing than what Dragon Ball original Dragon Ball is, where Dragon Ball 1 or just Dragon Ball is like bad guy doing terrible thing. He's threatening either a town, a village, a continent, the earth, and then Goku comes along and defeats him, or a group
Mhm.
of his Goku and his friends defeat them. And it's like, and that's intermixed with the tournament. And it's fine. They're all interesting stories. And it's kind of like the same thing, like Raditz comes and it's the same. And then, but then the difference is Goku dies. And you're like, okay, well, that's different. And
Yeah.
then this time when these two guys come, it's like, well, what happens? It's like, well, all of the friends die. You're like, oh, okay, that's very different.
Mhm.
So I like all that stuff, but I think them going to space and going to a different planet and like getting involved with other things
Yeah.
is just more fascinating to me.
It makes the world much bigger.
Right. Yes. And I
Yeah.
know that like obviously going off Earth is going to bring about like more stories and more content and more things are going to come of it, because of their travels into space.
Yeah.
And also, I'm very interested to see what the other, like, learn about the other Dragon Balls and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it does. It opens up the universe a lot more. Bigger stakes, you know.
Yeah.
It is funny. It's funny to think back to like Dragon Ball, and it's literally just like this little kid running around looking for like
Right.
Dragon Balls, fighting like an army that's also looking for them.
Right. Well, he just wants his
Now,
grandpa one, right? Yeah.
yeah. Now it's like, oh, well, you're actually from space, and we're from space, and
Right.
this guy's from space, but these Dragon Balls you've been collecting, they're from space.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Basically, everything is from space.
From space.
So,
Here's my wish of the second half of the Vegeta saga. I think I originally asked for a new person to join the squad, and we kind of got Piccolo. So I think then one of the other things I wanted was like Goku to get new powers or something, and he got the Kaioken. So I think the thing that I would like to see now, after we get past all of the Namek stuff and potentially bring back like Yamcha and Tien and Chaozu and Piccolo and things of that nature, maybe even Nappa, I'm not really sure, um, is maybe another world tournament. That'd be really fun to see a world tournament level with now all of these guys being at a much, much higher level. So that would be fun to see. I would like that. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, good. That will just about do it. So next time we're gonna start on episode 40.
Nice.
And we're gonna go to
I magically wrote down 51, but you can tell me.
51. Yeah, that's fine. That's the first half of the Namekian saga. Yeah, so that sounds good. So that's what we'll do next time. All right. So we'll see you guys next month on Dragon Ball Z.
The
Yeah, brought to you by the Nerd Hole Z. All right, we'll see you.
Kaioken times five.
かけてくるよアップルのモンスター飛んでくるよ夏の香りエイリアン